Just so you know, I will be speaking very quickly to get all the information needed. So if you listen to podcasts at like 0.5 or at 1.5 speed, you'll be right at home. Okay. Why did the snowman visit the doctor? He felt abominable. Don't worry, he's all white, just a little cold. Everyone says laughter is the best medicine. But we've heard the stories of like people being healed from sicknesses from just watching comedy movies and how it just like overall relieves anxiety. But if that's the case, why don't we practice it? The fact is, we should practice humor, and the best way to do so is by teaching it in schools, so that we can spread the advantages of good humor, contain the disadvantages of dark humor, and spread the benefits of a humorous society. The first of which is teaching good humor. The benefits of good humor is that a good, lighthearted joke can change the perspective for the better. Humor lightens situations, depleting stress by swinging something to the absurd. Multiple scientific and psychological studies on over 340 people have found that humor directly mitigated depression. Scientific studies also show that humor is associated with exhilaration, amusement, and mirth, all positive emotions. Wittiness also strengthens relations. Comedy relieves tension, softens critiques, shares enjoyments, and quickens relationships. Lastly, humor increases attractiveness and is considered crucial for long-term relationships. And also, comedy does actually heal. A study was done on, studies have shown the healing factor of jokes on POWs, Holocaust, and 9/11 survivors. And in particular, one study at 2 chronic schizophrenia wards was done where they showed 34 patients, 70 comedic movies in 3 months. The patients that were shown all comedic movies showed less perceived verbal hostility and scored better in psychiatric ratings. Their nurses were also a lot happier because they just got to see a whole bunch of comedy movies. So in conclusion, humor can help relieve depression, build stronger friendships, and even heal mental problems and trauma. However, the opposite can be the case for dark humor. Being taught the nuances of comedy and how to avoid dark humor can lead to the decrease of the disadvantages of dark humor. Germany has 2 words that more easily identify dark humor: Katagelisticism, the joy of laughing at others, and Schadenfreude, the enjoyment of others' misfortune. These 2 types of humor, along with teasing and hostile jokes, lead to depression and even suicide if encountered regularly. Hurt people hurt others. Gelatophobia, the fear of being laughed at, makes people afraid to get out of their comfort zones. And people with extreme cases can be afraid of laughter in general. In fact, the famous philosophers Plato, Socrates, and Hobbes all associate humor with disparagement, superiority, and aggression. While not always the case, that aggression and hostility can be used to ostracize others. Men in particular are prone to more aggressive and derogatory forms of humor, but to balance it out, also take less offense from it. Finally, coping humor can be used as a defensive shell. A survey on 426 people ranging from 18 to 90 years old found that coping humor is directly related to death anxiety. Using jokes as a coping device detaches people from their emotions. Just like the words that carry it, humor is a 2-sided sword, and if incorrectly used, can detach, hurt, or even kill the person it's aimed at. However, the world would look a lot different if we raised a positive humor society. First of all, jokes alleviate stress. In one survey, 53 students were told that they were to receive a shock in 12 minutes, and then either listen to a humorous audio tape, non-funny audio, or nothing. The students that listened to the comedic audio reported less anxiety, lower heart rate, and smiled more. Before the test, they filled out a questionnaire about how funny they were, and the funnier people actually smiled more whether or not the audio was playing. Another test was done on 215 undergraduate students where they took a college test with 1/3 of the test having funny questions on them. They also took another anxiety survey beforehand to see how anxious they were. And high anxiety students with the regular test performed significantly lower than mid-level or low-level anxiety students. But high anxiety students with a funny test performed higher than any anxious student. This leads to the second point, that humor leads to better performance. A test was done on 159 Israeli defense soldiers where they were evaluated for humor by self-reports and peer ratings. They were evaluated on how they coped with stress by assessments from their grades, peers, and commanders. The more comedic the person was, the better they performed under pressure, especially if the humor was self-produced. Lastly, a witty society can read the room. No good comedian is gonna crack a joke at a funeral. Even the healthiest of humor can sound bad in the wrong context. And cynicism, a form of dark humor, can be used to less harshly prove a needed point. Every type of joke can be used for good if used with tact. In a world where phones have removed many young adults and teen social skills, being able to read the room, searching for places to add jokes will help bring back those needed talents. So in conclusion, humor should be taught in schools because of the benefits of a healthy humor, the disadvantages of dark humor, and the advantages of a humorous society. Words are a sword, and jokes just sharpen the steel. However, swords have a sheath and take years to train with, but jokes can be used by anyone. It's true when they say that someone has a sharp wit, because they can truly cut with it. We have to remember that a joke is a change in the perspective. So you have to remember, what are you shifting that perspective towards?